What's good, everybody on YouTube? This is your boy Akil McLeod, and I'm a full-time eBay and Poshmark seller. And this is my beautiful fiance Dominique. And today I just wanted to share her perspective on what it's like being with a full-time reseller. I shared my perspective on what it's like being a full-time reseller, so I'll put that in the cards and in the description below. But today I just wanted to get her perspective, and I figured it would be a nice little spin on things, just so that, you know, maybe that you guys can just think of what it's like being the spouse or the partner of a full-time reseller. So if you guys like these kind of videos, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first question, what was I like during that time?
That time meaning when he first started reselling and everything. I just think it was a lot of research and a lot of time spent just kind of figuring it out. And I think just starting off, that was the scary part for him. Just from outside looking in, that's what it looked like. So just going from working a 9 to 5, you know, being in that field for about 5 or 6 years, that's all you really knew at that point. So then going from completely quitting that, not knowing what the heck was about to happen, it was scary, obviously, for me too, because I'm like, what did I encourage him to get ourselves into? But no, like seriously, like I said, it was just a lot of research. And I think at first it was just trying to find that work-life balance and just realizing, yes, do your research all day, but still come to bed at night. And I think just starting out for him, he just went dead head first dive into, he needed to figure it out. And that's good, because I feel like by him doing all the groundwork, he was able to hit the ground running. But it was a couple months, about 4 months maybe, of just serious research. From the time he woke up to the time he went to bed, it'll be times where I'm like literally 3:30 in the morning, I'll come cruising out the room looking all sleepy, just giving him the look like he's gonna come to bed. So I think starting out, that was really it, just trying to find that balance.
Because I think for me, what it was like was you know, of course you're leaving a job, so that steady income isn't going to be there. But I hear all these other stories of when people start a new business or they change careers, and those first, you know, maybe 6 months, you're not making anything. And when I quit my job, I saved up about 6 months worth of income. That way, when I actually do leave, you know, it can be somewhat of a smoother transition. So I definitely wanted to, like she said, hit the ground running and not, you know, run through that 6 months of savings without having any type of money coming in. So I really just did a ton of research. I watched a lot of videos about different resellers and stuff like that, just so I could learn some of the tips and tricks and not learn from just experience, because that's the best lesson, is to learn from experience. But at the same time, I wanted to learn from other people's mistakes, that way I wouldn't make some of the same ones. And that really did help. Those first, I feel like once I really leveled up my inventory to the point where I considered myself being full-time, I really did start doing well. And I just really attribute it to me doing all of the research and development from the beginning, because if I didn't, I would have just been, you know, buying a lot of the wrong brands and wasting a lot of money. And, you know, don't get me wrong, that stuff still happens, but once you do the research, you know, you kind of limit some of those mistakes. But like she said, work-life balance is tough, and I think in whatever field that you're in, that's going to be a challenge, especially if you're an entrepreneur, and especially if you're just a driven person in general. But I mean, it's something that you got to work on, you know, and it's tough, but it's possible. You know, you just have to actively want to achieve it, and as long as you're willing to do it, you should be fine.
If you believe it, you can achieve it, right?
Yeah, that's what they say. So, what were some of the biggest challenges?
I think some of the biggest challenges was just, for me, just learning how to communicate what I guess I needed out of him for our relationship. I think starting out, it was just, I didn't want to add to his stress, and I didn't want to nag, and I didn't want to, you know, make it seem like I wasn't happy, and I didn't support the decision, because obviously I did. Like, I remember day in and day out, I'm like, hey, if you're not happy, let's figure something else out. Let's make it work. Like, we'll make it work, leaving that job. But now it was like, okay, so I pushed him to do this, and now he's doing it, and it's like, okay, but here I am, like, you need to be done at 9 o'clock, and you need to not be on your phone, and you need to and I didn't want to feel like that. I didn't want to feel like I was coming in nagging. So I think the biggest challenge was kind of finding out, like, when do I say something, when do I not, how to say it. And I think just trying to communicate that with him, so it's not coming off like I don't support what he's doing, because obviously I do, and I did at that time as well. So I think just kind of finding that way of saying it, obviously, like not coming off harsh and just letting them know like, I'm proud of you, you're doing this, you're doing that, but I still need this from you. I still need, you know, you to be coming to bed at least around the time where I fall asleep, or at least not being on your phone, we're at dinner, you know, just stuff like that. So I think just finding that early, and I wish I kind of did find that communication style a little bit earlier, because it did take a while, and I know I was getting frustrated because as women, most women I should say, we kind of like to say, oh, he knows what I'm thinking already. So it was more or less like, he should know he should be coming to bed when I go to bed. He should know he shouldn't be doing this, this, and this, but I never said it.
How would we know? Fellas, comment about that. How would we know?
Y'all better not comment about that.
Like, I don't even make, he should know what I'm thinking.
Okay, that was a challenge. That's why I said I needed to tell the people. People, what's the next question?
How long did it take you to get accustomed to the lifestyle change?
Of course, when we first started dating, so many moons ago, I was just used to him working his 9 to 5, working in his college, and then of course when we moved to California, you know, I moved with him and I moved for his career, so it was more like that's the lifestyle I thought I was, obviously that's what it was going to be. I never thought there was going to be such a dramatic change. Obviously I'm very happy it was that, but it probably took about 6 months or so for me to really kind of get used to it. I mean, obviously to this day new things come about, like the YouTube now is getting thrown in there, Poshmark got thrown in there, so there's always going to be new things happening. And I think this really did help with my own personal like sudden change type of stuff, because I used to hate change and I kind of still do, but since all of this kind of happened, it kind of definitely helped me adjust to change. So I think about 6 months before, you know, the adjustment really started. And I think the best part of it was when I did leave my job prior to the job I'm in now, we were just able to do a lot more. Like, we were able to travel. We didn't have to really think about taking off time from work. It was never like, oh, on the weekends weren't like the highlight of our week anymore. Like, every day was kind of an exciting moment. So that was like, I think, the best part of it all.
When did you realize that this business was lucrative and it was a real business?
So the job I was at before my current position, I hated it, man. Like, it was hard. Of course I was helping the population that I wanted to help, so that was what kept me going. And it wasn't my clientele that was rough, it was literally the company. And then they just were doing too much. They were this close from seeing the true colors. It was about to come out. But I had to hold it down. I just came home and I remember just venting to Akil, like all out venting. And you know when you give somebody so much, like you give them the whole paragraph and they just text you back this, like, okay. That's kind of like what it was like. I was going, and then his first thing he said was, just quit. And I was like, what you mean? And I didn't, of course, y'all know I don't like change, so I was kind of like, I can't just quit. I can't just not have a job. And I remember thinking to myself, we both just can't not have a job. And I was like, wait, what he's doing is a job, and it's his full-time job. So I think it was that moment where I was like, I know he would never put me in a situation where, you know, we had to struggle. And that was one thing, and to this day I always applaud him on. He never put me in a situation where we struggle. And we used to watch other YouTubers, and that was like a part of their struggle, where they're like, oh, you know, we had to eat ramen every day for what, 2 months or something. And it's like, we never had to do that.
Unhealthy.
Right.
Crazy.
Granted, I love me some ramen, so I probably would eat it every now and again, but we don't have to. And I think that was the biggest thing. So once he was like, just quit, he gave me that just quit speech. I put my 2-week notice in the very next day. And I was technically out of work for about 8 months. I was in the hiring process for my current position. It took forever for me to get in, and then I finally got in. But yeah, I was out of work for 8 months, and it was around that time where I really was like, he's holding it down for us. And I was like, wow, this just went from like a maybe this is an in-between type of thing until he finds something else to, yeah, this is definitely gonna be his real full-time permanent business. So yeah, sometime around then.
I think for me it's like people are just so used to complaining about their jobs, and they think that they're not supposed to be happy with whatever it is that they're doing. But once I quit that job, that mindset changed, that's what really happened for me. And once I realized that you can work a full-time job and actually enjoy what you're doing, and be excited to wake up first thing in the morning, and Mondays are actually great, and you don't hate Mondays, and when Saturday and Sunday come, it's not like a celebration. You celebrate on a Tuesday if you want, or a Wednesday if you want. And it's just like we just needed to, I think a lot of people just need to really take control of their lives. And that moment when you realize that you don't like something that you're doing, I mean, granted, there is always going to be ups and downs and things that you don't like within a business. But when that moment comes where you start feeling that anxiety and you really don't like whatever it is that you're doing on a daily basis, you got to make a change, and you got to take a risk, and you got to take that leap of faith. And it's easier when you have someone that's going to support you, whether it's financially or just emotionally. But you got to take that risk, and that's what reselling did for me. It gave me that that platform to be my own boss and to become an entrepreneur and learn the ins and outs of just business. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's gonna take a very special opportunity for me to ever go back to a traditional 9-to-5, because once you have that freedom and you kind of developed your own work schedule, you don't ever want to go back to working for somebody unless it's, like I said, like a very special situation. I'm talking 7 figures or better. Like, it gotta be, you know what I mean? It gotta be something special.
That's all right. That's all right.
But it gotta be something special for me to not do my own thing. Because this day and age, there's so many different outlets on how to start a business or to be an entrepreneur. And reselling is probably the easiest job that you can do, because eBay and Poshmark and all these platforms are available. But I mean, like I said, man, if you don't like what you're doing, just quit that shit.
Let me tell you right now, if you ever in a situation where you need a motivational speaker to leave your job, call Akil, because he's gonna give it to you.
I'm telling you, man, that job that I had was the first job that I ever experienced any type of anxiety, where I couldn't sleep, where Sundays were like, it was scary. Like, Sundays my heart would be beating. It would be like an anxiety attack every Sunday. Like, who would want to actually go through that situation just for the money? It's like, it's not worth it. And the money was good. Clearly the money was good, but it's not worth it. And I've never been happier, so
just seeing the glow on your little face now that he's left, and just like he said, Sundays are fun days. What do we do on Sunday, Akil?
We brunch.
Yes, we brunch every Sunday. And it's just celebration, because it's a happy day now and not really like a miserable day in our household anymore.
So, as a partner, what are some of the most important qualities to have as a reseller spouse / fiance / girlfriend / whatever?
I think something that's super important is just being understanding. And kind of putting yourself in their shoes when it comes to exactly what they're doing. Because I know it's not, unless you're interested or know what the heck reselling is, you don't really know what really goes into it until you are doing it, or you're literally watching someone else do it. So of course I wanted to make sure I understand completely. So I will go and to this day I still go to the thrift stores with him. I'm not the best at sourcing. I don't really know what to look for, because I'll be looking for stuff for me. But it's still, sometimes, I might be that extra hand where he's like, oh, I need a basket. Oh, let me run and go get the basket. Whatever, So I think just being understanding in that nature, just really understanding what the whole thrift store entails. Because sometimes he'll be at one thrift store for 3 hours. And I'm like, why are you not coming home? You know what I'm saying? So just knowing that racks are constantly coming out. And sometimes he might literally be gone 8-9 hours just thrifting all day long. And then we'll come home. So that goes with just picking up that extra slack around the house if needed. I'm not sure how you guys do your cooking or anything, but I do like to cook, and Akil likes to cook too sometimes. But I feel like once he really jumped into this business, I decided to do more of the cooking, just to make sure that that's something off his plate, so he doesn't have to worry about it, and just anything else that I can think of to make his day a little bit easier. So definitely being understanding, I think, is the most valuable piece that a partner needs to date a reseller.
Yeah, because it's definitely a very non-traditional type of job. It's one of those things where I always say, I always have something to do. Mm-hmm. Like, I can always be listing more. I can always, source more. I can always continue to do more research. I could always try to edit some of my listings, or you know, there's always something new to do. You could always jump into a new platform and start selling things on, you know, Mercari or Amazon or whatever. So I always say that there's always something that I could be doing, but like we were talking about earlier, when it comes to that work-life balance, yes, there's always something I could be doing, but you always want to make sure that you're making time for your partner. So whether that means taking them along with you when you're going to the thrift stores or yard sales or whatever, and just, you know, making it more of a together experience and a couple experience, as opposed to, okay, I'm gonna go work and then you can stay home and you can do this. So you know, just getting that other person more involved is super important.
And we make it fun. We normally grab coffee. Well, I normally grab coffee. It's normally somewhere close to a donut shop or something. I get the donuts too, so it's fun for me. I don't know about y'all, but if y'all ever get a chance to ride along, you should go, because you get a lot of good stuff out the deal.
Alright y'all, that's all we have for today's video. So if you guys enjoyed that one, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos. And if you got any questions or any comments, definitely drop that in the comment section and I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. Anything you want to say to the people?
People, just don't give up. I know it's super stressful and it can get hard, but really, like, I never knew how much someone can actually make out of this career money-wise, you know, and just enjoy it so much until I started watching Akil do it. Like, there's days where I'll look at him, you know, he's grinding and I'm like, man, I don't feel like going to work. I love my job though now, so it's different, but it's just some of those days you wake up on Mondays with the Monday blues and it's like, man, I could be out here reselling too. But no, seriously though, keep hustling, keep grinding, don't give up, because it's definitely very, very rewarding.
And if you don't like that job, quit that shit.
Hey.
I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.